boys and girls, deed grabbers. Welcome to Goat Talk for this Thursday, June the 3rd. Is it already the 3rd? Is the year half over? I think it is. Guys, welcome this morning. We've got the legendary Richard Roop here with us this morning. I know some of you younger people, Richard was around when I got started. I'm going to date you as far as age-wise and everything. So yeah, he was around. He was a master back then. So he's one of the guys that I actually learned from. So
I'm still a master.
Richard. What's that?
Yeah, I was a master back then. I'm still a master.
Oh,
I should be a little bit better.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to talk this morning about lead generation and about maximizing your cash flow. A couple of the topics Richard's going to talk about at Sub 2 Palooza. So yeah, we're going to have him down in New Orleans for 3 days and try to learn some of the stuff that he knows anyway. Well, I'm sure we won't get it all. He knows so much, but welcome, Richard. Glad to have you here.
Oh, well, thank you for inviting me to speak with you today and your group. And I'm excited about your event coming up.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna have a great time. So let's get going. We were talking before we got on here today about how many people need more leads, and the consensus was everybody does. So what do we do today?
That is not what I asked you. I said how many people need more deals?
Deals. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Some people get a lot of leads and don't make any deals from them. So yeah.
Right. Well, and of course there's you need leads, you want leads to do deals, but yeah, it's all about like, what do people want? We were talking about creating unlimited deal flow. So it's like, who needs more deals? Everybody, right?
Right.
Everybody. And what's the solution to that? It all just about in any business, it comes down to marketing and sales.
Right.
And if you don't have your marketing fixed, you're not going to be doing any sales. So let's focus in on the marketing. That's where the big leverage point is for just about anybody who wants to make more money in the real estate business.
Yeah. Hey, Rudy, good to see you this morning. Hey, so Richard, if I'm a new investor and I don't have a bunch of money, where's the best place for me to start?
Well, what you want to do is you want to buy houses. So in order to buy houses, you have to make offers.
Right.
Right. In order to make offers, you need to be talking to people with houses for sale. And so there's 2 ways to do that. You can go knock on the door and say, hey, I see your house is for sale. Can you tell me about it? Is it, it's still available, right? Or call them, right? Or you can put marketing out and get them calling you for either to buy your house, but some of the new marketing strategies that I'm putting together now, William, is I'm just offering information that offers all the benefits that we offer if we buy their house, but it doesn't even say we're going to buy their house. It's like how to find a guaranteed buyer and sell your house for top dollar as is on the date of your choice, right? And it's a free report. And so I just want so marketing is not about, you do marketing to buy houses, you do marketing to get sellers to respond. So whatever you're doing in your marketing, you want to get the maximum number of people that actually have a house for sale to respond. And then you can give them, an opportunity to, you can make an offer or you can let them know you buy houses. So everybody that markets, they usually say, hey, I'll buy your house. I'll buy it as is. I'll close quickly, and that's fine. But some investors, would you say, William, some investors actually will not call on an ad like that because they know it's an investor and they think that they're going to be lowballed?
Yeah, probably so. I know when we reach out, when we were doing a lot of texting, that's one of the first things that a lot of people will come back at you if they engage in conversation. They say, hey, are you going to be one of those guys that tries to offer me half of what my house is worth? Exactly.
Isn't that a perception in the market?
Right.
Right. So if only 10% of the people that you're targeting have that perception, you've lost 10% of your audience. Okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with saying that, hey, I can buy your house if you want to sell your house. There's nothing wrong with that. I've been doing that for a couple of decades. We both have, right? But it's like, how do you maximize the response? So let me ask you a question, William. What type of message did you send to? So let's say you got you're texting. So are these someone you skip traced, and or is it someone you know has a house for sale?
We primarily were texting Zillow sellers. We would scrape the listings, and of course, it already had the number in there. So, you know, in the past, we've had really good responses with that, but texting is so overdone now. They're getting multiple texts a day from
Yeah.
from investors.
Well, it's because, okay, the best list to go after is the hardest list to get. So the
Exactly.
easiest list you can get, there's going to be a lot more competition. Okay. So in order to beat your competition, is you really need to be a better marketer. You have to have a better message, like you said. So you got a certain response, like, because so you would have a different approach if you knew someone had a house for sale, like on Zillow, right? You know they have a house for sale, and so my message would be, hey, I see you have your house for sale. Is it still available?
Right. That's
That's
exactly
it.
what we texted. We said, hey, saw your house for sale on Zillow. Is it still available? We'd love to talk to you
Okay,
about it. Yeah.
good. So what that does, they should respond,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
They're advertising their house for
Yeah.
sale. They should respond, right?
Right.
Now, the question is, did they give you their text number, or did you go skip trace it?
No, we actually, Zillow, FSBOs actually have their number right there. So when we used a
Yeah,
skip trace it, we used a scraping company, the number was there.
yeah. So I think that's a great campaign. Okay.
Mhm.
And then, so is it now, if it's not working, we could, at some point we can analyze it together and I can tell you how to beef it up. Okay.
Right.
But the other thing to do would be take that list that you got and hit them in different ways. Hit them with
Mhm.
direct mail, pick up the phone, send them a text, send them an email, whatever. But the same type of approach. The approach is you want to get them to reply.
Right.
You don't want to ask any commitment. You don't want to ask them to do anything. It's just like, answer my question.
Yep.
Is the
That's right.
house, is it still available?
Mhm. Yeah.
So the big mistake that I see, people will send a text out and say, hey, I see your house is for sale. I'm an investor. I can pay you, all cash, close quickly, buy it and then it's a sales message, right? They're
Right.
pitching them. And that can reduce your response. You want to maximize your response when you're targeting people with houses for sale.
Right. That's right. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Tim, Phil, Andrew, you guys got some questions? Just drop them in here. We're going to answer questions for you this morning. I don't know if you saw or not in the group this morning, Richard, I posted a text message that we got from someplace. I can't remember where. And my message on that was, hey, if you want to buy houses, don't be like this guy. This guy was texting, and his text said, "It's time for you to move and let me buy 123 Oak Street." And
Oh, I see. That makes my skin crawl, man.
yeah,
Oh
well, the
gosh.
response from that homeowner was pretty profound. He said, "It's time for you to F off." So I mean, he's probably not going to buy that guy's house, but anyway, so your approach is
All right.
important.
So one of the things I'll talk about at your event is common sense.
Yeah. Oh
A
yeah.
lot of things that you can double, triple, quadruple, 10 times your results by just implementing a little bit of common sense. Put yourself in their shoes. And what would you do if you got a text like that? So there's a lot
Exactly.
of marketing strategies, like just cold calling everybody in the neighborhood, trying to get people that haven't even, indicated they have a house for sale, and then say, hey, I want to buy your house, and then trying to convince someone to sell their house, and not only sell their house, but sell it at a discount or whatever, and just use persuasion and influence to just beat people up. What a terrible approach,
Yeah.
you know. And of course, you don't do that. I know
No.
that.
No.
I mean, you want to you want to build relationships, right, William?
Right.
You
Exactly.
want to build relationships.
Yeah.
You want to, and even if they're not interested or whatever, you want to leave them in a good place. You want to
That's
leave it
right.
open.
Because if they decide
You want to
next
create
month
positive.
yeah, if they decide, I mean, one of the things we try to do is always leave ourselves in a position where we can put them in a follow-up campaign. We ask for permission to do that. Can I be, okay, I understand that you guys aren't open. You want a traditional sale, all cash. Yeah, okay, that's great. Is it okay if we follow up with you periodically? Can we be your plan B in case things don't work out? And everybody says, sure. They give us permission to text them or email or call back later.
Yeah, there might be some good psychology behind that, but you know what? They're always going to say yes just to get you off the phone, even if they don't want to hear from you again. Okay.
Right.
So what I would do is I would tell them, look, I think you're right. You should probably pursue your other options. Think of me as your plan B. And if anything changes, I'm here. Just give me a call back.
Right.
So I'm going to tell them, call me back. I'm not going to say I'm going to call you back. I'm going to actually tell them and suggest that they keep my number, put it in an important place, right? And call me back if anything changes. And then I'm going to automatically follow up without their permission.
I got you. I hear you. Phil asked, if texting sellers is getting saturated, what do you suggest is a better way to make contact with those sellers?
Okay, what I would suggest is $100 bill business cards, flyers, post-it notes, flyer inserts, post-it notes on the paper, signs, calling, ringless voicemail, direct mail, letters, postcards, free special reports, cooperative direct mail, networking, uh, contacting influencers, getting referrals, doing repeat business, follow-up. So a couple things.
For sure. That's a bunch of stuff right there for sure.
That's half the list. That's half the list.
Yeah. So,
See,
I mean,
so the point here's the point. You can't, the most dangerous number is 1. So if you're getting all your deals, it's working, it's cost effective, and you're making money on texting, and you're doing just texting, as that gets oversaturated, or when they change the rules, or something happens where that's not working, then where are you at? So you need 3 or 4 things working at any given time because they're available. It's just some people don't do direct mail because they've tried it in the past, it didn't work, or in their area it's oversaturated, so they give up on direct mail. No, direct mail is the #1 way to get sellers calling you. So if it's not working, you need to fix your marketing campaign. You need to fix your postcard or your letter, or you need to fix your approach, your message, or you need to fix the list or the geographic area that you're hitting. Direct mail is the #1 way to build your business, and bar none.
Yeah. So how does an investor with a limited budget get started with direct mail?
With a limited budget?
Yeah, I mean, let's say you're just getting started out and you
Well,
don't, I mean, because
well,
direct
what's
mail,
your
the
goal?
perception
What's your goal?
is, well,
What's
I
your
mean,
goal?
okay, let's say your goal is, I mean, you're just getting started. You just want to buy a house.
Start direct mail for what purpose? Yeah, start direct mail for what purpose? To buy a house?
Yeah.
Okay, in what period of time?
Oh, the sooner the better. I mean, you know, everybody's in a big hurry, right?
Yeah, but so you got to either spend money or time.
Mhm.
So if you're on a limited budget, I would be spending all of your time to get that next deal, put a bunch of money in your pocket, and take half of that money and spend it on marketing.
Right.
Okay. But if you're going to spend $100 a month on marketing to get a deal, then it might take you a year or 2 to get a deal
Right.
with direct mail.
Right.
Now, texting can be cheaper, right? So if you're on a limited, so how do you, yeah. So direct mail is more expensive than texting. So how do I get into direct mail? Well, you can, what you can do is get a more targeted list. Okay, so you're sending out less postcards. So you're going to spend your time and effort and maybe some money on a list to hit a smaller list. So you have to spend less on printing and postage, and you get a higher, conversion ratio. All right. But if you're on a limited budget, the common sense answer, William, is go get some freaking money, man. And the best
Yeah,
way to do that, is talk. To buy a house, you have to be making offers, you have to be talking to sellers, right? And
right.
so if you're not getting them calling you from your direct mail, then you need to be calling them. So yeah, you can go to Zillow, but it's oversaturated, right? I would call. If I needed a deal, I'd call any seller I can get my hands on until I got a deal done. You could have a deal done in a week. In a week, you could have a deal done in a week, especially if you're buying subject to. You
Right.
can close in a week.
Yeah.
You can make your offer, get a contract, check the title, check the mortgage, and close on it within a week. So within a week, you could either, well, when I buy subject to, William, they either pay me to take over their mortgage, or I'm buying it for what they owe, or they have some equity and they're carrying back a note. So I might give them,
Right.
$50,000 later, or I'll offer them 5,000 now. So I'll take over your loan, give you 5,000 now, or I'll give you 50,000 later. Which way do you want? Right. So a lot of times you're not making any money when you're buying, unless they're paying you to buy the house. So what you're going to do is if you buy right, which is the easiest way to sell a property is to buy right. So if you buy right, you probably either have a buyer's list, or you can run an ad. If it's a good deal, if you know your exit, if you know you can find a buyer quickly, what price and terms, then you can line up your buyer before you even close. You
Right.
can advertise the property, the opportunity, before you even close. So as soon as you close, you might have 2 or 3 buyers just waiting for you to close so they can give you some money. And that will get some money down with some owner financing or as a purchase deposit, and take that money and then reinvest that into your marketing.
Right. I
So
agree.
don't go out and buy the Lamborghini, or go buy a new computer, or whatever. Take a trip. Um, you don't go pay off all your debts. Invest unless your debts, because that money you can get. You know, you should be getting 2,000% return on your marketing dollars. 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000%. So why would you pay off 10% debt with your money? Go ahead and build your cash reserves, or build more money, reinvest the money, do more deals, and then go pay off all your high interest rate
Right.
before you
Hey, Tammy,
invest
good
in
to see
anything
you.
else.
Ron, Steve, glad you're here with us this morning. Kevin asked, isn't it better to master a marketing method before moving on to a different method? Some methods don't require much mastering. Bandit signs, for example. I mean, that's a pretty simple approach. Maybe direct mail, it's a little bit more complicated. You got to have your message right, your list right. But I think there are several methods of marketing that don't require much mastering. Wouldn't you agree?
No, no. Now you do you have my marketing mastery for real estate entrepreneurs program, William? My
Probably. I
boot camp
probably
on
have it somewhere.
audio and video.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think you got my 5-figure paycheck course. In my courses, how many methods of marketing do I teach in my courses? Like dozens,
Mhm.
right? So why would I teach dozens when you only need 1 or 2 or 3, or maybe when you should only start with 1? Well, no, you need to have that flexibility, and you're going to have different opportunities in different situations in different markets. Like, one of the best things to do is advertise in a low-cost shopper magazine that targets a very narrow neighborhood that you want to dominate, right? Well, maybe you don't have that publication, right? So you can't use that strategy, right? But there are other ways to target that neighborhood. Okay, so do you master one thing before you do multiple things? No, you do multiple things, and then you gravitate towards having 3 or 4 systems that, once they're set up, you really don't have to do anything.
Mhm.
Okay, and you don't have to master it. It's all about results. And like you said, William, some things are really simple. You don't have to be an expert. What you do is you have to have really good copy. You have to have a really good message. You have to have a really good marketing piece, and then you want to target the right people. So no, should you master texting before you do direct mail? No. um, the best thing to do is, I know it's difficult, but it's, it's try and outsource stuff. Okay. You don't have to become an expert on getting your message out in different types of media. Like right now, I'm creating some killer, William, we talked about my technical limitations personally. I'm the strategic guy, I'm the creative guy. I'm creating brand new Facebook ads that which do what I just told you. It's designed to get the seller to respond. I'm not even telling them that that I'm selling a house. I'm just saying, here, you do want these benefits, get this free report. You're going to learn how to get these benefits. And in the report, I tell them how they get the benefits, and they learn that I buy houses, right? So I can get more people responding, because some people that may not want to respond to an investor ad will actually respond because they want the benefits. Now I can build that relationship. I can follow up. Now, I have with Facebook ads, you have an image and you have a message, right? And then you have a call to action. They can go to your website or they can fill out a form, right? Now, I haven't done Facebook ads forever, because when you have direct mail working and you have other things working as well, why would you go create a new campaign? And if it's working for my clients, my other investors that I work with, why create new stuff? Well, right now there are some opportunities to make Facebook ads work. There's limitations to it, but technically, I don't know how. I haven't set them up for many years, so I'd rather hire someone else who's an expert at it, not an ad agency that's just going to spend your money on Facebook ads and make their money spending your ad money. Okay, but a technical person, maybe on Fiverr or some type of referral, who understands Facebook ads, and you can tell them, here's who I want to target. Here's my ad. You need to give them the ad, but technically someone else can run it for you or help you get it set up.
Right.
And now here's the other thing. You do want to become a marketing expert. That's how you're going to grow and build your business and be successful at anything. You should be the marketing director, and you should constantly be learning new marketing methods for, getting leads and converting leads and following up.
Right. I agree. Hey guys, if you have any questions, let us have them. Richard's going to answer questions here this morning. So we're talking about lead generation. And I know another thing that you're going to talk about at the Palooza is cash flow, how to increase your cash flow on your deals. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
You mean the kind of the bonus session for your inner circle members, your coaching
right.
folks?
Just a little bit on what that topic will be.
Well, that's about turning more of your leads into deals, offering additional ways to solve a seller's problem. Okay, and so there's subject to, there's lease options, there's buying all cash. There's different ways to fund a deal. Okay, another way to fund a deal is owner finance. Okay, now I have a strategy. It's called the ultimate strategy, where we target high equity properties, and we have very good marketing, we have a very good approach, and we have very good deal structuring, where we can offer the seller more than any other buyer. We can advertise that in our marketing, so that increases our response and it makes us stand out if there's any competition. But we can actually pay more than market value if we can get a seller to get very creative on their terms. So this strategy works on any type of property, in any geographic area, in any economic, economy, environment, in any price range. Okay, so what we do is we can buy any property, but only based on what the property can afford. So we run all the numbers and we find out what is the cash flow, right? And how much money do we need for this deal? And then we use the deal it's self-funding, right? But then you're generating cash when you buy it. So it's a buy and hold strategy. Okay, just kind of like a subject to is buy and hold sometimes, right? It's buy and hold. So if you're going to buy a lot of properties and not sell them, if you're going to hold them long term for wealth and cash flow, then you actually need to collect 10 or 20 grand when you buy it, just
Mhm.
so you can pay yourself, write yourself a paycheck, cover, and it's basically, this is extra money. It's not all the money you spent on marketing to get that deal, we pull that back out of the deal and reinvest it. That's why, how do you market on a shoestring budget? How do you do marketing on a limited basis? Well, you spend some, and then on the deal, you get it back and you reinvest it.
Right.
So, and any money that you spend to get a deal, you don't have it tied up in the deal. So have no money tied up in the deal, pull out an extra 10 grand every time you buy. And that's money you don't need to fix up the house, occupy the house, or pay for your overhead or anything like that. This is extra money to you. It's your
Right.
paycheck. So if you're collecting 10 or 20 grand a month, then that's a form of cash flow. Okay. But you could, if you have that money coming in, you can actually give all the cash flow to the seller and make more attractive offers. You can say, okay, it rents for 1,500 after taxes, insurance, vacancies, repairs, maintenance, homeowners dues. There's $900 left over. You can offer that $900 to pay off a seller note. So you can offer it $900 a month to the seller, and have no cash flow. Or if you weren't pulling out money when you bought it and you wanted to build cash flows, then you can give them half the cash flow and keep half the cash flow. So they get you offer them 450 and you keep 450, right?
Mhm.
So there's three things: cash now, cash flow, and cash later, William. So cash now is that money that you collect flipping a deal, or in this case it's tax-free money because we're actually borrowing part of our profits when we close, right? It's active income, it's active cash that you're collecting. Then you got that passive, reliable monthly cash flow. You want to build that. Okay, I'm okay with a break even because if my cash flow needs are met monthly doing deals, then I know rents are going to go up over time, and then that's going to build a cash flow. Plus, all the money I'm giving to the seller, just about 99% of it is paying off the note because we offer 0.87% interest on these notes, sometimes 0%. And so we're building wealth, we're building equity. Property may appreciate in value, so that's cash later. So cash now is active, cash flow is kind of passive, and it just comes in. And then that cash later is for your wealth building, so that you are building a portfolio that has growing equity, and eventually, they're going to be paid down, and then you can, you're essentially financially free. You can do whatever you want. So you do want to get to that point where your passive income meets all of your personal needs so you can work or not. That's financial freedom. And the best way to do that is to know that number. Find out what that number is, set it as a goal, and build that monthly positive passive cash flow. Say, okay, within 2 years, I want to be making 20 grand a month from cash flow because, and know your reason why, and then create your plan and knock it out and do it.
Right. So it all starts with how much do I need to live the life that I want to live? And then you base your business around that.
I think everybody should go through that exercise. I think everybody should sit down and think about, because I created a program called $1 Million Mindstorming, the secret of creating your financial future, where we actually for 2 days, and I do have this as like a home study, but for 2 days, we walked them through that process. The first thing is what's your preferred lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
And how does your business look? What does your life look? Okay, what kind of things do you want to own? What do you want to be, do, or have? And then we figure out how much money that's going to take, right? And then we figure out how much investments we need to create that income. And then we put a deadline on it as a goal. And then we walk through the process of creating a smart goal that's going to happen. If you're committed to it, if it's important to you, if you do it right, it's going to happen because you're not going to give up. 90% of the goals that you set, William, you should be hitting. Otherwise, you're setting your goals wrong.
Right. Okay.
They're not
So
well thought out.
I've got to ask you back to the seller financing question. You said you pay 0.8%, 0.87. How do you calculate that number?
Oh,
I've got to know where you got that.
it's I got it from the IRS. It's 0.87%, 0.87%. And that's the on a 9-year deal. So if I get a seller to carry back a note for 9 years, I'll offer the federal rate. Okay. And if it's over 9 years, I'll offer like 1.67, which is the federal rate for anything over 9 years. Okay. And that is, so it's like, usually I'm just saying these are principal only payments. There is no interest. If I paid you interest, you'd have to report that as interest. Do you want interest? If you want interest, whatever it costs me in interest, it's just going to lower the price. That's what that's what we do with our calculations with my software.
Right.
But to avoid the objection of like, well, there's no interest. Where's my interest, right? A lot of times we just go ahead and offer the government rate. It's the applicable federal rate. So if you Google applicable federal rate, the first link that comes up should probably be the IRS. And there's other sites that have those rates. Those rates kind of adjust a little bit each month. They used to be higher. Rates are super low. So it's almost like 0%.
Right. I got you. Yeah, it's pretty close.
0.87%.
We generally just don't even mention interest. We break that down. If they're going to finance 50,000 for us, we'll just break it down over X number of months and say, this is what your payment is. And it's surprising the number of people that just, if you don't bring it up, they don't.
That's right. That's the approach. That's the approach. And new people, when they're getting started, they have to talk to their title company and say, look, when you're drawing up this note, there's not going to be any interest. Don't be asking me what about the interest, because I usually don't pay interest. They don't know how to write it up. Can you give me an AM schedule? You don't need an AM schedule.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty basic elementary school math there.
Common sense. Remember, common sense. Yeah, and make it simple. Like I said, the first approach is, look, I'll give you 50,000. I'm going to give you 500 a month for 100 months. There you go.
Yeah. And when they do bring up interest, they go, well, there's no interest in this. You're going to pay me interest, aren't you? And my question is always, okay, well, if I gave you cash, what are you going to do with it? Well, I'm going to put it in the bank. Okay, well, what are they going to pay you? Because I'll be glad to match it. Because, if they put it in a CD or savings account, you know what they're going to get. So we're back to the IRS rate or something similar probably at that point. So,
yeah. Well, when you do a lot of these deals, that objection comes up more often, especially if you're targeting free and clear houses and your main thrust is buying with owner financing. Their accountant or their attorney says, well, you might have to charge interest, otherwise they could impute interest. Well, they could, but it's really not a risk.
Right.
But I'd rather just go ahead and give them the applicable federal rate, which is what the IRS wants. See, they have this rate so that if you do a loan with a family member, they want you to actually charge interest, or otherwise they want to tax it as a gift. They want to treat it tax-wise as a gift. So that's why they have these minimum interest rates. So we go ahead and use the rate. Now, if someone asks me, where's my interest? I'll say, well, I'm paying, we talked about what you would net if you sold your property and the price that I'm paying. That difference is actually your interest. I just added it to it.
Because you're not going to have any realtor fees or closing costs or anything else. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, but most of my properties are 10 or 20% above market.
Okay, so you're paying 10 or 20% above market.
Yeah, a $200,000 house, I might offer them
250.
Yeah, well, 250. I might offer them 280.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I'm telling you, this is how you get more deals done. How do you buy houses in a hot market? You pay them more than market value. How do you do that? You lock in 15 years of 0% financing for a majority of the deal. Okay. So it's different on a high equity subject to or a subject to deal. But if it's completely free and clear, or if it's got a small mortgage that we actually pay off with a private money first, I calculate, okay, we start, it's called profit first, William. So when I'm making offers, I say, okay, if I'm going to hold this property for 9 years, I want to make $9,000 a year. Okay, so that's $90,000. If I hold it for 15 years, I want to make $150,000. So I have my target profit, and then I calculate all the numbers, and it shows me, and then I say, okay, there's not going to be any appreciation on this property for 72 months. And then it might go up rents and price might go up 3% a year after that. So I calculate what I can sell the property for in 9 or 15 years. I calculate the cash flow, and I never offer more than what the property can afford. I never have negative cash flow, and I can pay for a $200,000 house. I can pay 250 or 280 with long-term, low interest, no interest, owner financing. You just, if you run the numbers, and you can say, you can decide, yeah, I'm okay making 150 grand on this property as opposed to making 250 grand.
Gotcha. Okay, so and Andrew's got a question that's really close to what my next one would be. What are your protections if the market declines? Okay, just extend the terms on the home if it happens to be underwater when your terms come due with the seller carrying it. How do you handle that? I mean, let's say that you got that $250,000 house, if you can even find one for that price in Las Vegas right now, and something happens like it happened in 2008, whatever, and that house is worth 100,000. How do you handle that? How do you come out on the other side?
This is exactly why people should be doing this right now, because we're going to see some type of change in the market. We just don't know when. Okay, things are insane. It doesn't make common sense what's going on right now in the market. You know, people put their head in the sand. They say, no, you know, they come up with excuses why nothing's going to change. Well, things are going to change.
Sure.
Okay, so this is why you should not be taking. This is why you should have a low interest rate financing, 0% financing. This is why you should have long-term plan and long-term financing. So the best thing to do, especially in an inflationary environment, which we're seeing, is own real estate and have long-term, low interest rate fixed debt. That's what you want right now. And you want to build your portfolio right now. Now, what happens if that $250,000 house goes down to 100,000? Okay, well, you go ahead and continue to make the payments, right? So, but why? Well, I can't because rents went down. Okay, well, if rents went down, you can't afford to make the payments. Then you call the seller and say, you saw the news, prices collapsed. I can't afford to make the payments. Now, when I set this up with you, I would just say, look, I'll need to work this out so I can continue to make payments with you. Otherwise, you know, I can give you the house back. Right. Okay. So you're dealing with an individual, not a bank. Okay. And you just do good business. You be honest, you be upfront, and you don't make promises you can't keep. So if you've gotten a situation where you couldn't keep your promises, I would let them know, here's my situation. Here's what we can do to fix it, or I can't fix it. Here's your house back. Okay. Now, that could create problems, obviously, right? But you want to, that we're talking about a worst case scenario, right? Now, what happens if you owe this money to the seller and the note comes due and your plan was to refinance it or sell it, and you can't refinance it or sell it at the price that you planned on, right? Right. In fact, I have a series of 7 frequently asked questions on this model on my YouTube channel. So if people look that up, I answer this, you know, I spent an hour and a half on this, right? But if every time we do one of these deals, we get a substitution of collateral. Okay. So we're over leveraging the property because we're paying more than what it's worth with seller carried back note, right? And a small private money first. The total amount is more than what is owed. If something happened, I can at any time move that mortgage to other properties with equal or greater equity. So I can turn debt equity in my other properties into 0% cash. Because when my buyer cashes me out, by the way, this is one of the advantages, when my buyer cashes me out early before my note is due, the only reason I paid that price is because I'd set it up. So if it's a 9-year deal and I pay $250, that note is going 9 years. The seller agreed, if I sell the property sooner, I can move that around until it comes due. And yes, at the end, when it comes due, it's like, hey, your note, I've been making these payments or not, or whatever they were, you know, whatever the deal was. Your note's maturing. I owe you this amount of money. So I can pay you off, or we can extend it, and rents have gone up, so I can actually start paying you a higher price, or I can start paying you interest, or I can give you a partial pay down and another note, or I can diversify your note and spread it out and start paying you interest. But there's so many things you can do when the note comes due. Here's another advantage, William, is if we see continued economic challenges for buyers, sellers, just people in general, the public, people are going to want cash. So if they're waiting for some money on your deal, subject to note, the ultimate strategy note, whatever it is, if a seller's waiting for some money and you have extra money, there's a good chance that you can pay off that debt at a discount early.
Right.
And
Oh,
if
yeah.
they call you and say, I need some money, then you can calculate what you would be willing to do to pay it off early. So
Yeah.
that's an extra profit center by having seller financing.
Oh, absolutely. That's a strategy we've used forever. If a seller's carrying back a smaller second on a sub 2, 20,000 or something, you can call them up late in the year before the holidays and say, hey guys, I know my note's not due for a couple of years, but I've got a little bit of extra money. Would you be willing to take 10,000 today for that note? And you'd be surprised the number of times they go, absolutely, especially if they're not getting any payments.
Remember, we talked about marketing.
Right.
I have a marketing system to pay off notes, all my notes at a discount. Okay. It's a very simple system.
Right.
And here's it is. It's when if you're sending someone a check or whatever, you put a little post-it note on there. Hey, if you're interested in getting paid off early, give me a call. Right? That's it. That's the
Right.
system.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what if they didn't want to take a big hit?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
All right. If I'm giving someone $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year, right?
Right.
But if I offered to give them 4,500, 9 payments now, instead of the next 12 payments, right? So instead of 6,000 over 12 months, give them $4,500 now.
Right.
If you do that, if you pay them, if that's over a 35% return on your cash.
Right.
Okay. I think if you pay off 10 payments for 12 payments for price of 10, it's actually a 35% return. But I would be going with, hey, I can give you 6, 7 payments or 8 payments or 9 payments. So if you have extra cash, you don't have to wait for them to call you. You can actually call them and say, I have some extra cash. I'd like to, prepay my next 12 payments. But if I do that, I'm going to skip 3 of them. And then after that, it'll start up again. Right? Would you like for your $500 a month, or would you like $4,500 today? And so, oh yeah, I could use $4,500.
Absolutely.
I can go buy some Bitcoin or something.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's, we've never targeted free and clear, but, just talking to you here for a few minutes today, it sounds like, you're actually, instead of working with Bank of America, who doesn't care who you are on a sub 2 deal, if you've got free and clear, you're actually a partner with that homeowner, no matter what happens in the marketplace. They're either going to work with you or, yeah.
I actually call it my seller profit share plan.
Yeah.
In my marketing, instead of saying, hey, we also do owner financing, when I'm trying to get them to respond, we also have a seller profit share plan. Right. And that is basically they're helping fund the deal. They're getting, they're not getting money. Yeah, they're getting some of their money in the future because of the long-term plan, because they're involved long-term, like a partner, but we own the property. They don't have a, equitable interest, but they have a lien, right? They have protection. And the banks. Now, so here's the great thing is if you set up marketing campaigns to target free and clear properties, guess what? You're going to get properties that are not free and clear. Right. And then you want to know how to take those subject to, right? Now, there's high equity subject twos and there's low equity subject twos. And it's kind of a different approach, but it's still anybody with a house for sale, I just want them to call. Because what you want to do, one of the biggest ways to have unlimited deal flow is to become a transaction engineer, to have all these tools, okay, and ability ways to buy a house and make money on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the topic, this seller equity sharing. This is what you're going to talk about on the bonus day at the Palooza, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean,
man, I'm
it's called
excited.
the ultimate strategy. Yep, the
Yeah.
ultimate strategy for buying and selling houses. I'm gonna walk through the model, make it simple, right?
Right.
And it's like, wow, okay. Talk about the pros and cons, right? And it's like, yeah, you need to add this to what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm excited about hearing about that now. That's something new for me. I don't start doing new things very often, but I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Justin, I agree. That was a heck of a nugget right there. Matt, good to see you here. If you guys have any questions, we're going to be on for a few more minutes. I have a question for you, Richard. If you were limited to only one list, we were talking earlier about how the more narrow, the more defined your list is, the better it is. But if you only had one list that you could target right now, I'm guessing from our conversation, it would probably be free and clear properties, or would it be something else?
If I only had one list,
Right.
just one,
Just
it'd
one.
be my
All your
it'd be
marketing
my
magic, but you got one list you can go after. What would you do?
my contact list. Everybody I know. And then I would work on building my contact list, which is actually what we do. That's one of the high level strategies of doing marketing, is realizing you're really wanting to build your in-house contact list. And you want to market to your in-house contact list. It's the best list. It's the hardest list. There's no competition. It's your list. It's the best list on the planet. Use it and then build it and use it. Okay. And there's a number of strategies and campaigns that we do to our in-house contact list. Those are some of the things that I teach. Is here's what you do to your contact list 3 or 4 times a year, right? Or if you need some money, or if you need some private lenders, or if you need if you have, so your contact list. But if you were going to go out and get a list, the best list, if I could do one list, it would be cash strapped landlords with properties in a trust.
Properties in a trust. How do you
Cash
find a list
strapped.
like that? How do you know who that
You
is?
didn't
It?
ask me that. You said, what if I could get one list?
Yeah.
What would I
Okay.
do?
Well,
That's the best. Okay, so that's the
yeah.
best list. The
Okay.
best lists are the hardest lists to get. So for many, many years, I've been teaching people, go after free and clear. I started this after the last financial meltdown. I published the Free and Clear Cash Machine back in 2008. And I had another course called The Ultimate Strategy in 2007. And I started doing it in 2003. Okay. But I started really insisting people use this model in 2008. Okay. I connect with people all the time that are telling me about all these properties they bought, they still got, and they're paid down. It's great. So I would tell people to go after free and clear houses, which a lot of times you have to go 0 to 49% LTV. Okay. Because you can't get a list of free and clear. So you go by loan to value. That's one. There's several ways to try and target it. That's one way. Loan to value, 0 to 49%. And then you can go to primary owners or absentee owners. I'm going to go after the absentee owners, the non-owner occupied properties, because it's better. It's better. It's a smaller list. They have more reasons to sell to us. We can buy it with their existing tenants if it's a rental. They have portfolios of properties. We can give them more income than they're netting now, managing a property themselves. There's just all these benefits that we can offer to landlords, retiring landlords. Now, then you're going to want to narrow that into a very small targeted area and hit it over and over and over and dominate that neighborhood, dominate those zip codes, dominate an entire county. Okay. I bought over 400 properties in a county of 18,000 households.
Right.
Okay. Because I'm doing multiple things, everything's connected. I create a presence and to do good business and target your efforts. So one list, I would say, now a lot of people now today are targeting that list. Absentee owners with free and clear houses. People are told to do that. I told a lot of people do it. A lot of people are still doing it, and they're starting to have too much competition. And if that's the case, then you got to change your zip codes.
Mm-hmm.
So absentee owners with equity.
I can see where your strategy of overpaying for a house and this list you're talking about would work perfectly today. You'd be surprised. Well, maybe you wouldn't be, but the number of people we text, there's so many landlords that are just unloading their portfolios because of the market right now. I
Well,
mean,
that's
you
what you
text and
said.
say,
What
I saw your house for sale. Is it still available? And they go, which one? Because they're selling. And that's the response back to us. Which one are you talking
I
about?
love that market. I love
Yeah.
that market. So target that market. Okay.
Yeah.
That's how you get more bang for your buck, is target that market, become an expert in that market, know all of those reasons why these retiring landlords want to sell. So you can say it in your marketing, you can say it on the phone, you can say it when you're presenting your offer, you can say it when you're going through your contract and getting their signature. You'll know their hot buttons, you'll know what you're doing for them, and you can actually help them, right?
Right.
Retire with a lot of benefits. And they have, and then now what's the best list? Your contact list. When you just bought that landlord's house, who's the best? Go buy the rest of his houses.
Right.
We've
Yeah.
gotten packages of 21 houses, free and clear,
Right.
one seller,
Well,
off
the
of
next
one
one
postcard.
that texts you and says, well, which one? Well, how many you got? I want all of them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, yeah. You don't want to seem too eager.
No, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Vincent. Yeah, I agree. Some real gold here for sure. So if you guys have any
Oh,
questions, we're going to be
what?
on a couple more
And,
minutes. All right.
and one more thing, we were talking about that best list. You know, you were just telling me how, landlords is a good list, and I'm saying that is a good list. So that cash strapped landlords with properties in trust, if you build that list, it's an incredible list. Okay. So what's a cash strapped landlord? So there's different ways you can uncover that, but yeah, it's hard. It takes work. But once you
Yeah.
figure it out, then you will have no competition. Well, you might have some competition, but you can just really work that list.
Yeah. Just the people you've shared that with, I guess.
Well,
Okay.
COVID caused this.
Yeah.
COVID caused a lot of
Right.
landlords to throw their hands up and say, "I'm done with this. I want to
Yeah.
sell."
Right.
Take advantage of it right now.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, guys, tell everybody, Richard, where they can find you if they're interested in your training materials and everything, where they can find you and
Well,
reach out to
I
you.
got some actual free training videos, some free training programs that actually will walk you through step by step some of the stuff we talked about today.
Okay.
I have one. It's at, if you go to richardroop.com, and I just put there at the top, because I just put a new link. It says, click here for free real estate investor training, right? And that will
Right.
take you to a page, and there's a number of programs right now that are available for free. One is on creating $1 million postcard campaign, right? Talk
Right.
about how to make your direct mail work. One is on how to make $72,000 buying a house for top dollar. That's the ultimate strategy. That walks you through the steps of the ultimate strategy that we were talking about. I think there's several really good titles on there, but those are two that we talked about today. And
Okay.
so that's at richardroop.com. Click on the link right at the top of the page where it says free training. That'll take you to rapodia.com. It actually takes you to rapodia.com/free, where I have those programs available. And
Okay, great.
it's
Because
free. You can access them today.
yeah, these guys love free. And don't forget, Richard will be at Sub 2 Palooza this September. You guys, we still have tickets available. So get over there and get you a couple of tickets during the early bird pricing. We'd love to see you guys there. It's September 9th and 10th. And we'll also have a bonus day for our coaching students. So if you're a coaching student, you're going to get to hear Richard walk you through the process of finding and dealing with these free and clear property
Yeah,
owners.
I got two presentations for the main group during the first 2 days. I'm going to talk about how to attract and find unlimited leads, deeds, and deals. Kind of what we're going to expand on what we're talking about today. And then during the third day for the coaching folks, I'm covering the ultimate strategy for more cash now and cash flow.
Right. And then, of course, we're gonna corral Richard on Friday night on our riverboat cruise. So we're gonna trap him on one deck of that boat for all of our coaching students as well. So you guys can question him and that sort of thing. So yeah, looking forward to the Palooza for sure.
Yeah, stump me. Come
Yeah.
on, come to the event, stump me. Give me something I can't solve that I haven't solved already. If I don't have the answer, I'll make something up that sounds credible.
That's right. All right, guys, we appreciate the heck out of you being here today. Remember, every Thursday at 8 Pacific, 9 Mountain Time, 10 Central, and 11 Eastern, we have Goat Talk here. So we appreciate y'all joining us today. Hope you can be at the Palooza, be here next week for Goat Talk. Yeah, thanks for being here. So thanks, Richard. Appreciate you being here with us.
Thanks, William.